testosterone, we have a problem.
This is Outside the Manosphere, where two guys with zero credentials dive past the cliches of masculinity and try to become better friends by actually talking to each other. It's weirdly hard, but we're doing it anyway. Join us.
Welcome to Outside the Manosphere. I'm Skip.
And I'm Carlos.
Carlos, you've just told me recently that season 1 is ending. Is that true? I didn't even know we were in a season.
Season 1 of Outside the Manosphere is coming to a close, Skip. Today we are having our 36th question to fall in love, after which we will be fully in love. And this is not our last episode. We're going to have another reflection episode after this. But yeah, we're coming to an end, brother. This is our last season. Or no. This is the end of our first season.
End of our first season. So what do we have coming up for season 2? What's on the menu? What's on the agenda?
Well, we're spinning some plates right now. But I think our theme for the next season, right, is going to be some red flags, some male behavior red flags.
Red flags.
We're gonna discuss some of those, and a lot of those, I guess, and at least personally with me, how I've expressed these things, and
me too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have got work to do still. I've come a long way, but either way, we're going to be discussing maybe some toxic characteristics in men and relationships, and those waving red flags to avoid.
Sounds fun.
So what's been going on with you since last we spoke?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot. Boy birthday, made him his strawberry cupcakes, went and shot a bunch of teenagers with lasers. So not a ton. How about you?
Oh man, nothing at all. I'm still, we were recording a little bit earlier we recorded later last week than usual and earlier this week than usual. So I'm still kind of coasting on my days off. I've got this is my last day and then I'm back to work tomorrow, but man, nothing at all. I'm working on, that'll come up in the 36 questions, working on some procrastination issues.
Are you itching to get back to work? Are you getting that whole addicted to work thing?
No, I mean, it's yes and no. I mean, there's excitement there, but like I do stuff outside of my days off. So like,
and I guess we should say what you do for a living in case people don't know.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, I guess the couple of people listening to this show on a regular basis will know that I'm a paramedic, a new paramedic. Excitement and boredom all the time in this job. But yeah, man, nothing to report. And no, I'm not eager to get back to work because it is work and it is a 12-hour shift. And yeah, they're long. They can, like I said, they can be really boring or they can be more intense than I'm interested in. That sounds negative. I am enjoying the job very, very much, as we discussed last episode. So, well, what do you got for a news item this week or this in these past few days?
Yeah. So my news item is, there's this election coming up in November, and I'd just like to see it continue to come up because the news issue that I have is that there's reportedly circling an executive action that would allow Trump to take over the elections. And that's kind of endgame for becoming a dictatorship. So it's very important. This was also something that was very easy to see coming from, before he even got elected, I think.
There was no way of knowing, Skip. There was no way of knowing.
Which is why it's been driving me nuts up until now. Like now everybody's kind of on the same page. But up until now, where the Democrats have been like, oh, this is going to be great for our midterms. And it's like, you stupid people. They're not going to let you have midterms. They're not going to let this proceed fair. So I think it's really important. And while he has denied that, the way that he denied it was, who told you that? Which is kind of a dead giveaway that it's true.
Oh, I didn't hear that. But yeah, that totally is. Who told you?
It's like what your kid says after you find out something, Who told you that? No. So that's my news item. And I think people just, kind of need to be aware And like, I know it's like really trying and exhausting to be involved in politics and up on this stuff, but this is the end of the game here for whether our country stays a democracy or not. And if you don't think that that matters so much, I would very much urge you to spend a little time cogitating on that. That's my news item.
Well, I do think we're going to have midterms. I have questioned what they're going to look like because maybe for the first time in my well, since I've been paying attention in my adult life, I am concerned about fairness and tinkering with elections. And like before, when Donald Trump was saying, "Oh, it's unfair and they're cheating," I dismiss all that because it was just unfounded and bullshit. But like, if anything, Donald Trump has consistently done is he has accused others of the things he's about to be doing or he's doing at that moment. So, that it is a big concern of mine as well. And I do think we're going to have elections. I think an outright shutdown or postponement of them would be a disaster for Donald Trump.
Sure.
But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's working hard, and his group is working hard to tinker with it and make it. Well, they're already doing it by redistricting, and thankfully the Democrats are pushing back in the same toxic way. But I mean, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like this, they're going to have an unfair advantage otherwise.
Yeah, and I guess I should qualify that. I don't know necessarily that the elections are going to go away, but what I meant was the free and fair elections that we're used to. Whereas in dictatorship, they often still have elections. They're just kind of sham elections.
Yeah.
So that's really what I meant. And yeah, I'm worried that that's going to end. And there actually has been some evidence of like Russia and China trying to alter our elections and do things in the past, but always for Donald Trump because they know that he's very easily manipulated. All you have to do is get in a room with him and tell him he's tall and he's like, I love this guy. He's fabulous. China's wonderful again.
So this is not my news item, but you just made me realize or maybe remember I saw this morning, and I'll be very brief because this isn't my news item. But I don't have a good news item, actually. So maybe this is. Planes falling out of the sky right now, like F-16 fighter jets falling out of the sky in the Middle East right now while they're attacking Iran. And I clicked on it to see what it looked like. There was one video of it, and it was just like a leaf, like floating down to the ground. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't, but I can imagine it. Yeah.
I mean, that's like, what is that exactly? To me, that's my immediate thought was it's some sort of software hijacking or malfunction or whatever, and maybe some weapon that the Iranians or the Chinese or somebody has had like in the fucking barrel waiting to go for this moment, because it's not one plane. It's been several F-16s that are just like floating to the earth. I mean, the guys, the pilots are like ejecting and they're no one's been killed because of it, but it's phenomenal to see these expensive multi-million-dollar war machines just like crashing straight down. Not even in a fiery like ball. They're just like floating to the ground and crashing.
Yeah, like so much Forrest Gump feather. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean the villain, as often is the case, might be capitalism. It might be this unregulated capitalism that the GOP has pushed for so hard that now it's coming to bite us in the butt because we didn't check that things were okay. And, and we've got the least competent people in the world in charge of things.
Yes, I know. So my news item, it's not really a news item, but I was kind of trolling the news, trying to find something to chat about today. And I said, you know what? Everything's negative in the news that I thought I'm going to just dig around and see what I can find. And I've been a subscriber to the New York Times for like a decade. And I don't know what possessed me. I was like, I'm going to click lifestyle. And it's all become very social media-esque. I don't know if you've like poked around some of these major news things, but like as you're scrolling on your phone, everything's like animated. Like there's video. That's how they kind of hook you in. But I thought, why am I scrolling on like Facebook for news and shit like that? Like, why am I not doing that on the New York Times? And it was all like lifestyle stuff. Obviously, it was fashion and food and all that kind of stuff. But it was positive, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And from reputable journalists, like, why am I wasting my time? We've somehow just given social media all the reins to our information. And you look at New York Times, it's the same sort of captivating format, but legit information. So I'm like, wow, all this time I haven't poked around in the different sections. I read the headlines and I read politics, and there's just a wealth of information there. So my news, it's almost a joy actually. My news item is, if you have subscriptions to anything, explore them. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool.
Carlos,
Yes, Skip.
are you ready to fall in love?
I'm so ready. This is it. We're in love after this.
Sadly, yeah, it's the last time we're going to be falling in love, because after this, we're just going to be completely in love. That's my understanding of the situation.
After this, we'll be maintaining love.
Maintaining love
for the rest of our lives. Yes.
Oh, it sounds like a marriage. Cool. Yeah. This is 36 Questions to Fall in Love, and it was originally a New York Times article, I guess about 11 years ago now, because we've been doing this for around a year. So this is question 36. Are you ready? Are you ready to be in love?
Dude, I've been ready 36 questions ago, so let's do it.
All right. All right. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how they might handle it. Then ask your partner to reflect on how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen.
Okay. So I was reflecting on this morning because I saw it in our notes. And so I guess a little qualification here is I don't usually seek advice from other people. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've had like an insurmountable problem that I'm like, I need someone else to tell me what to do, or I need someone else to give me their input. So I was really struggling with this question because I've got like what I was kind of hinting at earlier is lately I've gotten into just procrastinating a lot and just finding motivation. And then when I do find motivation, finding discipline to maintain that motivation. So that's kind of been my big issue these past couple of months, I should say. Maybe even longer than a couple of months. But that's been a lifelong issue as well. But for the most part, I don't really, I always know the solution. Even with this procrastination stuff, I know the solutions. I always know what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like finding the energy to do them. I guess my problem that I'm posing to you, Skip, is I'm having trouble with procrastination. I'm having trouble being disciplined in the things that I want to be doing, like going to the gym, like eating healthy, maybe less screen time. What do I do? How do I fix that, Skip?
So first, let me say that from your affect, from the way that you're communicating this, what I hear is that like cognitively, you're recognizing the problem.
Yes.
But you also don't really want to deal with it. You're like, I know what to do. I don't,
Yes.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, you're procrastinating about your procrastination.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have tackled this issue but it was out of necessity. Like, I was always a procrastinator too for a very long time. But the way that I became not a procrastinator anymore was to be in charge of like way too many things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And to where it was just like, I need to get as much done in every moment as I possibly can and make sure that there's not going to be problems heading my way so that I can kind of continue to exist. Because I was in charge of like a school and a couple of small companies, and the companies dealt with people's visas. And it was just like all like sort of, and the school was for people moving abroad to get jobs. So it was all kind of very responsibility intense, and not just responsibility, but responsibility like literally for people's lives and stuff like that. So it just got really intense, and that forced me out of procrastination. And I wouldn't recommend that people engineer their life to be that way just to get rid of a procrastination problem.
Take on more.
Yeah. So now like I have way less responsibility, but I generally do things like as soon as possible. Like I shop for Christmas presents like at the beginning of November because I don't want to like be stressed out considering it. So for me, it's like an anti-stress thing, but it's like anti-stress at the end, but then I get stressed out because I want to start doing things. So like if I have to wait, like it's like the world is procrastinating and I just want to move as fast as possible. So I don't know. I think if it's something that you genuinely care about, then you're not gonna procrastinate as much. It's
Right.
and I'm not saying that you don't care about any of these things, but there's a certain amount of gravity that will spur you to move forward on
Right. Right.
things, And so I don't know. It's a weird thing. I think there's lots of like little 6 tricks to get rid of procrastination and things like that. But like I think a lot of those are just kind of clickbaity or pop
Yeah.
sciencey things and yeah, I'm not sure. I wish I had a better thing to say, but like part of how I do it, which I don't know if I'd recommend, is I live in the future a lot of the
Oh,
time.
okay.
I don't live in the moment a lot
Yeah.
of the time. So like I'm thinking about the future, so I'm always preparing. But that's not a great thing because it puts you in a place where you're not enjoying your current situation
Yeah.
a lot of the
Yeah. Yeah.
time,
Yeah. I
and
agree.
it stresses you out. So like I don't know, maybe procrastination, maybe there's a certain amount of procrastination that's good for you.
As you were describing, your solutions and your experience with it, it occurred to me like the past couple of years going through a paramedic school and then like the whole like hiring application or
Yeah.
hiring process and licensing process. There was so much, and on top of that, getting citizenship and
Mhm.
buying a house, and like there's been so much that I've been carrying with me that I don't know. I maybe give myself a little slack. Like this is my fuck off months.
Yeah. There you go. I think that's it. I think we found the solution is just to like not really give a shit.
Yeah,
Just
you know what? Who cares? Procrastinate more. Well, what about you, man? What's a problem that you've been? It was a personal problem that you
ooh.
want to ask my advice about.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to think for a minute because unlike you, I did not cleverly read this in advance and think about it. I don't know how much. I mean, like I'm very willing and open to hear your advice and stuff. I don't know how much you'll be able to help me with this though.
Okay,
It's
okay.
been a lifelong thing. So my problem has always been, or one of my problems. I've had many problems. Has always been that I'm interested in many things and I'm passionate about none. So, like, when I'm trying to decide what to do in life, I have like, and I don't mean like me particular, like, there's always a bunch of options, right? There's always a bunch of paths you can take. And I'm interested in many of them,
Hmm.
but not like passionate, not like interested in a way that propels me forward, Just kind of like, so I end up tinkering on a lot of things. Like, I'm I'm never sure, like, there's a certain amount of inertia because of kids, like, that we're staying here and I'm doing certain things. But, like, when I was single, I'd flit from thing to thing because it was just me, and, like, I wasn't driven forward unless, like I was just talking about with you, I had some kind of great responsibility that I was carrying on my shoulders that I had to, like, do something with. So like, and right now my great responsibility is to my family, but like, I don't know, like I've got different options for what I could do for work or not work or pastimes or things like that. And while that's really nice and I'm very, very fortunate to have the play and the leeway to have those choices in my life, I have no idea what to do. And I end up like kind of inching forward on 7 different paths rather than moving forward on one.
Well, how do you feel about that though? Like, is that like a a real problem for you, or do you want to change that, or how do you feel about it?
So the problem that I have with it is sort of like when you were talking last week about your job and how it feels, you have a lot of purpose and it feels meaningful. The problem is that I don't have that, but I'm also not sure that I would get it from any particular path. And
Hmm.
that's kind of the issue. It's like it feels very arbitrary. Like I'd pick a path and I'd be like, well, this is what I'm doing now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I don't have that passion for it. So I'm just kind of moving forward on a bunch of things. And I'm past the point in my life where I need to like kind of prove myself so
Right, right.
much. But like I feel like looking at myself, I'm like, what a unserious person.
That's not true. That's not
Like,
true. But I get
buckle
you don't
down and
really.
do something, you slacker.
Well, you're a family man.
Yeah.
You've built something that's absolutely worth celebrating and being proud of. Well, I don't know, man. I guess I can only. Well, so what I'm seeing here is I don't think this is really a huge problem for you either. Like, I feel like you're aware of it again, like I am, but you're not really bothered by it. Like, it doesn't seem like it's something that is holding you back or weighing you down or, you know, anything like that. But I guess what I can say is because I have the same thing. Like, I've got 100 different things going on, and I'm usually on the surface of all of them. Maybe a handful I've burrowed deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
what I have found is that I usually create like a benchmark for myself. Okay, I'm doing this thing now. Once I've achieved this thing, it'll be done. You know what I mean? And I don't like agree with myself to like, then I'll put it away and never look at it again. But like, I guess once I've reached a certain like bar of satisfaction, I can flutter away to some other object. You know what I mean? But I don't usually, well, and that's not true. I do wander off like and leave things half finished. I've done that my whole life. But I guess in the past few years, I've drilled down on a lot of things, and I usually find a stopping point, like an unspoken stopping point, or just like just something that I can wind it down and feel satisfied with it. And I think of things like, I guess the last few things that I've been interested in, not even interested in, that I've like put my attention on have been like citizenship or application for school, and then completion of school, and during school, like the highest grades I can get, and then like, you know, licensing, and then job. So like I've been jumping from stone to stone, but they're not exactly interests. They're more of like objectives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess maybe the difference between what I've done in the past and what I've done now is I had like a very, very clear goal at the end of it that I really wanted. Whether or not that was going to like bear any kind of fruit, I didn't know. But that's what I was going for. You know what I mean? And that was like a 2-year project. So
Sure.
I don't know where I'm going with this, other than like I just had like an end game.
Yeah.
And benchmarks for all the little things that I've got around me as well.
No, I think I've got a lot of benchmarks, but then I get to the end of the benchmarks and I'm like, well, I've gotten to the end of the benchmark, and it doesn't feel like particularly meaningful, or like it's driving forwards towards something bigger. Like, there are processes like the adoption of my son, which I'm still fiddling with paperwork for. But like those feel like meaningful. I'm driven to do them and complete them. But then like I do other little projects, like I'm learning the skill, or I'm doing this, and maybe I'll get a job in that, and maybe I'll do this. But even if I got that job, I guess it would satisfy some parts, but like I don't know that I'd feel like it was meaningful or helpful other than monetary value. So, but yeah, I like the milestones. I do that a lot.
Well, I think the whole adoption with your son, though, it's exactly what I mean. Like, wasn't exactly like a hobby or an interest, but it was like a goal that you worked hard for, and you reached. Well, I guess you haven't reached the end of it, but like you've achieved the thing that you wanted to do, at least in the Czech Republic, and that's what you wanted recognition for. That's what your son wanted recognition for, and you got it. Like, that's huge. I think that's a big thing, and it's just because I guess everything else you were describing were hobbies. And
hobbies or movement towards work, like a long-term job or something like that.
All sought out out of like boredom. You know what I mean? And I don't know about like lack of purpose. I think the adoption of your son was for purpose, and you did it. You know what I mean? Like that's to me, that's the most fulfilling thing you could do. So I don't know. I think you're doing all right.
Okay. All right.
I'm just going to dismiss your problem and be like, hey, you're fine, man. You're fine. Shake it off.
Well, I think part of what you're saying is right, though. Like the adoption of my son was extremely meaningful and extremely purposeful. And so like when I'm trying to find things to do with my day to day, it's just like, well, none of this shit matters that much. And you know,
Well, yeah.
So like I'm doing 7 different things kind of like half-assed, and which is still, 4 whole things or 3.5 whole things if I'm half-assing 7, but but yeah. All right. Well, that's enough. That's enough about my leisurely problems.
Well, both of our problems were pretty leisurely. Anyway, well, you know what? That's a sign of good health, I think. That's the end of our 36 questions for falling in love. It's the genesis of this podcast.
Yeah, it's the genesis for the name of the podcast and everything.
Yeah. Well, and I think I can speak for both of us that we are madly in love now. But I will say, Skip, I feel like it was always love from the beginning. I think it was love at first sight for me, at least. I knew this guy. I was like, this guy, we're going to be friends. Me and this guy.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I felt a similar kindred spark. Yeah,
That's it. Right there. Well, yours was Kindred Spark. Mine was Love at First Sight, but whatever, man. That's
uh,
fine.
I'm cautious. I'm cautious. I've been
Yeah.
burned, Carlos.
All right, Skip. Well, we are going to be discussing a thing that I had never heard of before until you brought it to my attention, called Looksmaxxing. What can you tell us about Looksmaxxing?
So Looksmaxxing is kind of exactly what you think it is. And if it sounds like a word that like a 5-year-old would make up, I think that's kind of what they're actually going for. Like this whole chunk of the manosphere comes up with these silly words that sound like they're from kids. But part of it is, the purpose of it is to be self-evident in some cases, or sound silly and get attention in others. And this is just like maxing out how good you can look. And it's, I can say that I feel like, without going crazy or being manosphere, you have been doing this for years with maxing out how good looking you are, doing your own hair and all this stuff, but but not in a toxic way like these guys are.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, but doing my own hair, that's out of necessity and vanity, because no one else cuts my hair as beautiful as I cut it. So I guess, that is Looksmaxxing.
So what's the difference between, because I know the difference, but how do you perceive the difference between, I guess, your well-deserved vanity and these Looksmaxxing guys?
So I guess my reflexive answer to that is, I think vanity can be healthy. I mean, I guess if you're vain, it's not healthy. But if you're careful with your appearance, and you maintain your hygiene, and you brush your hair,
Yes.
and you want to look decent for society, and not just for the opposite sex, but you want to maintain your appearance, I think that's a healthy thing. Looksmaxxing, I mean, this kid that brought it up, I won't even say his name because I don't want to. This whole thing I hate giving air to, but like it is a thing in the manosphere.
Yeah.
But this kid who's an influencer, a young guy, he's even hitting himself in the face with a hammer to literally impact create microfractures in his bones so that he can shape his cheekbones. And he's espousing that, he's trumpeting that, people are listening to him. That is quite different, I think, from being vain or having a little streak of vanity, because you're hurting yourself and you're recommending pain to others, or potential injury to others, for the sake of, what? Like, whose standard of beauty are you even trying to reach?
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is purpose. So like, when you want to look good, it's because you take pride in your appearance, and like, you just want to like feel good about yourself.
Right.
And you want your hair to look the way you want your hair to look.
Hey, that's why I do it.
Yeah. And for the Looksmaxxers, the whole point isn't just like, it's because they think that literally the best thing that you can do in the world is to look good, and to live your life as a person that looks good, sharing your life with people about how you look good, and that it's more important than all these other things. And it's about not just looking good, but dominating both men and women through good looks, because they're like, oh, you're going to get good jobs, people will let you do anything. And there is a certain degree scientifically where this is backed up.
Sure.
Not that you're allowed to do anything, but there have been lots of studies about people that are going for interviews that are, more, I guess, subjectively attractive and less subjectively attractive. And the people that are more subjectively attractive tend to get more job offers and things like that. So there's some truth to this, but not to the extreme that these people are taking it to. So the difference between, I think, vanity, just a healthy amount of vanity, as you put it, which I think is fair, is like, I'd like to look good so I can feel good about myself, as opposed to Looksmaxxing, which is, I want to look good to make myself better than other people and make them feel like crap, which also gets into mogging. And I don't know if you've heard of that before.
Only from the information that you'd sent me this morning. It's there's a whole vocabulary to this.
There really is.
In the podcast, they even cited like a tweet on X from, I don't know, just someone asking this guy a question, and I wouldn't have been able to understand a single word that they in the question because of the vocabulary. It was all coded, and not even coded. It was just a part of their vernacular that I just am not a part of.
So, what is mogging? Maybe you can take us through that.
It's like well, maybe I can't. It's like dominating, right? Or like trolling. So for example, this guy was side by side with a much bigger guy, and they said that he was frame mogged by this
Yes.
bigger guy. The guy's frame, his physical frame was larger and more muscular than this other guy, so he was frame mogged. He was frame dominated.
Yeah. Mogging actually stands for something. It stands originally, it's a shortening of alpha male of the group or male of the group. And they were saying that you can mog people, you can financially mog people, you can frame mog people, you can look mog people or whatever. We can vulnerability mog people because we can friend mog people. That's what we do.
So something that I will say was funny was this kid said he was second floor mogging.
Yeah.
And they were using that as
second floor maxing.
Oh, yes. So
Yeah.
sorry, going back to the maxing, second floor maxing. He was going up the stairs.
Yeah. No, I mean, there are some silly things, but mogging is essentially like we had talked about the shine theory, which is like when I shine, you shine. And it's like when something good happens for my buddy Carlos, that's great. And his happiness and his success help pull me into happiness and success. Like it's sort of like the idea of a successful network rather than a bunch of birds trying to poop on each other. You know? So this and one of the things that I thought was really striking for me was where they talked about some of these guys now saying, you know, like the whole purpose of this was because it kind of grew out of the incel movement. And they're saying, no, you can change it. You can be good looking and then you can sleep with women and stuff like that. But now they've changed and they're like, sleeping with women isn't important. The most important thing is dominating other men, which circles right back around to being very not heterosexual, which is fine, but they're clearly not okay with not being heterosexual. They just want to dominate men. But, you know, it reminds me also of I had mentioned Goodhart's law, right? It states when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. So if for these guys, the target is the measure was looking better than other men. The target was so that you could sleep with women. And now the target has become
the measure. The measure has become the target.
Yeah, the target was sleeping with other women. And now they're like, we don't care about sleeping with other women. About sleeping with women. I need to look better than these men. So like the measure has become the target and it ceases to become a good measure. And it's like a great illustration of Goodhart's law where you just kind of get some simple-minded people and they forget, they don't even know why they're doing things. There's no kind of internal logic to anything.
Well, and that podcast you had sent me to, they were citing some conference, or I guess it wasn't a conference, it was like a nightclub in Miami of like Manosphere influencers. I did the thought of a bunch of dudes, like muscular guys, like all glammed out with their sunglasses and their shirts open, like socializing with each other. It's just so funny to me. Which it's also ironic because, like, I mean, for generations, women have wanted men to be more sensitive. They've wanted men to open up socially. They've wanted men to like just interact with each other healthily and or just in any kind of way. And now men are doing that, but like everything else, they fuck it up. Like, hey, you need to have friends. Okay, I'm going to join a militia. You know what I mean? I'm going to socialize with guns now, or I'm going to become a Manosphere influencer, and then I'm going to congregate with these other asswipes, and we're going to be all toxic together. It's just we can't do anything right. It seems like in these social situations.
Well, and sadly, I don't even think I wouldn't even classify a lot of this as genuine friendship because it's all about using each other's platforms to make themselves more popular.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a perversion of the whole idea. Like, I'm going to be social, but no, you're not being social. You're just trying to dominate this other person who is also trying to dominate you. Like, it's just this weird evolution of showmanship.
Well, I think the reason that this feels like an important thing to bring up is because what it really is, and it's the same thing that's happened with, it happened with Fox News and then one news network and with these guys, one Manosphere bro building on another Manosphere bro is it's this engagement farming, which is like, it's just trying to get clicks and rage bait. And what they do is they're trying to out extreme each other so that people can click on it. And a lot of this stuff starts with kind of a wink and a nod, kind of like I remember. Do you remember Tom Green? Tom Green had a show on MTV.
Yeah, the Canadian guy. Yeah,
Canadian guy, and he was just kind of like disgusting and weird, and like there was an episode where he sucked a cow's udder for milk, and it was
famously,
it was just like, it was desperation for people. It wasn't about humor anymore. It was like about desperation to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And like, this is kind of like that. But the problem is that in the effort to one up each other and stuff, and they're moving what we call the Overton window. And do you know what the Overton window is?
You brought it up, but I can't remember.
Yeah. It's basically the window of discourse. It's the things that we talk about. And so they keep moving it to these crazy new places and these more toxic places. And a lot of people, especially kids that are on this, that are seeing these guys that are on one hand saying, I want to be dominant against over all these other men and make them lower than me. And then at the same time, they're saying, by the way, buy my course so I can make you better.
Right.
And they're seeing these guys that are, in their eyes, good looking. They're getting a lot of attention. They're making a lot of money because of clicks and things like that, and these ridiculous courses that people can take. So they're seeing these people, and they're not realizing that all of this stuff is performative. And then eventually, over time, it like kind of like Fox News, where there was like this outrage stuff. They manufactured the environment that they were reporting the news on. And these guys are manufacturing white supremacy and toxicity because they're performing it to get attention, but then it creates that reality in the world. This is the kind of stuff that you talk about, but you talk about it in a positive way, whereas these guys are drawing everybody into the muck because it makes them money.
Right. Well, I think about these guys and the world they've built around themselves, and I just wonder how they can be satisfied in that environment, because you have most women that think they're awful human beings, and you have a large chunk of men that think they're awful human beings, and then you have the worst of men who are like, yeah, this guy, I'm with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you be happy in that environment, like as an influencer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making money, but like, are you happy? Is that bringing you satisfaction? Or just to be contrary and combative over every little fucking thing, like, is that bringing you joy and happiness? I don't understand it. And as far as what you were saying earlier about positivity, that can start at the basic level with the people listening. You know what I mean? If they just if they stop putting all their eggs in another person's basket and work on themselves with what they want in the future, you know what I mean? And like focus on what they want, what they need to be doing to do it. I don't know. I guess self-reliance is what I'm espousing now. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it yourself, but I don't know. I don't see any good coming out of really any influencer, man. Like,
no,
even these wellness people, like it's just people have stopped thinking for themselves. And this is the result. You're going to have a group of people, and they're going to be telling you what to do, and you're going to be following it. You're going to be following them right over a cliff, We
should just reclaim some of this stuff. We should friend Max, and we should mog. And by mogging, being the man of the group, it means helping out other people. I'm going to be the man of the group and help out people. I'm going to be the man of the group, and when somebody's being shitty, I'm going to like stand up for the person they're being shitty to. We need to like reclaim that.
Well, we need to stop thinking of ourselves is really what it is. And I guess think of yourself in the context of like how you're going to take action, how you're going to mog, you know what I mean? How you're going to max. But after that, like, that context has to be like, what am I doing for the betterment of others? I think if you can get your head in that space, like, only good things come from there. Only good things come from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because don't hurt yourself, obviously. You can't give all of your money to every person that's reaching out their hand, but like, help others and think of others, and it's the complete everything that these guys are teaching you. Do the opposite, because that's where joy and happiness is, and that's where the ladies are too.
I agree. I have a friend that has a tattoo, and the tattoo is of people, the emergency plane situation where the oxygen masks drop.
Oh, sure.
And it says, "Put on your own oxygen mask before helping others."
Yeah.
And like, she's got that tattooed on her. And I think about that every once in a while, because it's kind of like what you said. You don't hurt yourself, but at this, because you have to take care of yourself in order to be able to help each other, to help other people. But if you kind of just keep it in that mind frame, like I'm putting on my mask first, and then I'm going to be able to help other people.
Right.
And like, if that's kind of like your mantra, and I think you're right, like helping other people. And I'm not going to like make the kind of promises that the Manosphere bros do, that like, if you help out each other people and you try and better yourself and you're a nice person, every woman is going to flock all over you. You're going to be turning people away. Like, but you're going to find somebody, and you're not always going to get the person that you have your eye on initially, but you're going to find somebody better that values you for who you are and finds the person that you genuinely are, instead of making up some fake caricature of a human being that's
Right.
empty inside, that gets a lady for maybe you do get a lady for a night, but then you stop being interested in that and you only want to mog other dudes. I don't
Right.
know. Like, that doesn't sound, like you said, that doesn't sound like a good, healthy existence. So like, underneath all this stuff about wanting to look better, and it's fine to want to look better, is just like being a better person, and be patient and find the right person that responds to you, and find good friends, and find, I don't know, meaningful relationships. Because like your jawline is not going to make you feel better, other than like for a couple seconds while you look in the mirror, I guess.
Well, you have to accept who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to be able to dunk on a regulation hoop, and I'm fucking fine with that.
Yeah.
It's not happening. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not an athlete. I'm terrible at math. You know what I mean? I stammer a lot. I'm fucking fine with all that. It's just that's just the way I am, and to want to change it all is just to fight an uphill battle, and just be yourself and be happy with what you've got. And if, I mean, whatever you're not happy with, you can work on it. Of course, you grow from it, but like, don't harm yourself in the process of doing it. And that's what's happening with all these people in the Manosphere. They're hurting themselves, and they're hurting their social networks, and they're hurting other people.
Yeah, they are hurting other people. I think, like thinking back to last week when we talked about bigorexia, like this is all directly contributing to that. And like, we talked about younger men being more susceptible and more, falling prey to this kind of stuff, and becoming bigorexic or whatever. Like, this is a direct result of pushing this kind of narrative and making people feel like they're not good enough. And like, that's the real effect of mogging, is to make people sick, like not like literally sick, like with body dysmorphia, and feeling depression, all kinds of things. So we can do better. Do better.
So I feel like just hearing myself a lot, like I feel like there's a lot of like, oh, this is bad, this is bad. Something that I don't really share this kind of thing, but what I do every single morning, if I don't do it like while I'm still laying in bed, I'll do it while I'm in the shower or when I'm driving to work or whatever. I have mantras in my mind, or I have manifestations in my mind. I say things over and over and over again in my mind. I have like a set number of times that I do it, and I have to say it clear-headed in my mind or out loud if I'm alone. But my mind can't be wandering while I'm saying it. I will need to focus on this one thing. And like, for me, it's deeply spiritual, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can just be an affirmation. So for example, and I'm going to amend this so it doesn't sound super spiritual, but what I say typically is, I am on the right path to achieve my greatest good today. That's what I say. That's part of what I say today.
That's nice.
And then I say, and I notice every opportunity to raise my vibration and to bring positive energy to those around me. I say that every single day, multiple times, all at once. But as I'm saying it, I'm thinking of what that looks like. So for example, I'm bringing positive energy to those around me. I think of the person I'm working with that day, and I think of what I know about them. And I think of like maybe something that's not going right with them. And I think of how I don't even think of a solution. I imagine myself being this positive source of energy for them. And like I said, it doesn't have to be energetic. It doesn't have to be spiritual. You can create your own. I'm going to be the best person I can today. Period. That's all you got to say.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying it, you're thinking about it, and you're thinking of ways you can do it, and it's right in the center of your mind. And like going back to what I was saying, I think so many of us just kind of farm that out to others. Like, what do I do? You tell me what I need to do. Like, no, you need to think about what you need to do. And just a little bit of thought every single day will go a long, long way. And like you were saying before, you'll find that that special person because you're attracting all the goodness to yourself with these thoughts. And I don't know, I'm a firm advocate of manifestations and affirmations because they work, man. It's just such a good way to keep yourself on track. And like I said, I do it every day, and I've only found positivity from it. Saying you can do the same thing with journaling. I think it's almost the same thing, but you have to be consistent. Journal at the end of every day. Journal at the beginning of every day if you prefer. And what that's doing is you are writing out your thoughts. You're writing out your problems. You're thinking about them, and they stop being mysterious. They stop being mountains when you think about them. And that's all you have to do is think. Dot.
Period. Nice.
End of my lecture.
Well, I will say that I have often, I don't know if I would have always called them mantras or anything, but like even when I was a kid, like I talked last time about how I was a big kid and I lost a lot of weight. I would be running and I would have a little like mantra that I would do to like the beat of my feet. And I'd be like strength, speed, stamina, something like that,
Perfect.
And so I have always kind of done that. But now, because of you, I've gotten back into this a little bit. And so when I go get in the sauna at the gym, I have a little mantra that I do and I slow down my breathing and I try and pay attention. And I just, inside my head, I say, I am patient, I am kind, I am generous, I am loving. And I just repeat it over and over again. And it's something that, like, those are things that I've wanted to work on. But it's also something that, like, I want to see myself that way. And, like, I'm saying those things helps me move towards that. It also helps me see when I'm doing those things.
Yes.
So I will second your mantra thing. Yeah, it's a way to put it in your mind and keep it front of mind. We've talked about that before.
Yes. It's one of my favorite things. And I guess it's been a while since I've talked about it, but it's definitely a major part of my life.
So I would say I would end this section maybe by saying, let's go ahead and mog, but mog as you would want mogging to be. Men of the group being, to like what we said before, taking care of people, standing up for the things that are right. And if you're going to max, like substance max, or like be someone of substance, be Kindmaxxing, be like, if you're gonna, like, let's go ahead and take this jargon that's so silly and like take it, own it, and turn it towards something good. That's what I say.
Kindmax. I like it.
Kindmaxxing, yeah.
Kindmaxxing, damn it. Yes, the ing. All right, Skip. Well, as always, I would like to know what your joy and or joys are for this week.
All right. Well, it hasn't been that long since we talked, but I did managed to scrounge up some joys. And I didn't want to do the obvious. I've already talked about my son's birthday, which was really nice, and things like that. But we do have in our second season some future guests coming up. So that's exciting. Someone from Australia that's part of Movember and is a researcher, possibly some other ones. And the other thing that's my joy for the week, and I don't know, it's like a long-term joy. It's not like in the moment joy so much.
Those are one of the better ones, I think.
Yeah. So my younger son, we've started kind of upping his chores. I taught him to do the dishes for the first time. Because he's turning 9 and the other boy's been doing the dishes since he was 9. So we're just kind of working on those independence and things like that. And so it's a milestone of sorts.
Yeah, that's nice.
To be able to think maybe he's trustworthy enough to do the dishes. Because he's a little all over the place and wild. So we're just going to see how it goes. But it's moving forward. And that's cool. It's nice. How about you? What's your joy?
So my joy is very first world joy, I guess. So our old farm, I got burgled again. And I know this because we had people that we know in the area who didn't know how to get a hold of us. I got a message from so-and-so to contact this so-and-so because they saw this. And so I got a message that, our place got burgled again. And tying this back to manifestations and affirmations and all these things, I have a certain financial goal in my mind that I haven't really shared it with Jody even, but I have like this amount of savings and money that I want to have to just to manifest.
Be okay.
And to be okay. And it's like a lot. it's I'm aiming high, right? So our place got burgled again. So I was like, well, shit, man, I got to go back over. Like every time this happens, the third time it's happened, it's such a weight on me. Like I feel fucking terrible when it happens.
Yeah.
And it's because it's violating, but it's also just like, it hurts my feeling. Like it's terrible, dude. It's not a good feeling at all. And it's out of my control because it's like a half an hour drive. Like I'm never there. I've got some pretty negative memories tied to that because of recent shit that I've mentioned early in the podcast. I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to implicate myself in any kind of crime. But so yeah, I guess in short, like every time I go to that area, and Jody does too. Every time we go to the area, the little village that's nearby, it's just as negative. I got to get the fuck out of here right now. Like both of us have felt that way. We got to get out of this area like right now. And as I was driving there yesterday to sort of like patch up the damage that was done to when they broke in, I was like, why are we holding on to this little property here? Because there's nothing good that's coming out of it. I feel terrible every time I come here. Jody feels terrible every time I come here. And so when I got home, I was like, let's just get rid of it. Let's just, it's a little piece of like nothing land. It's not like a big investment or anything. Yeah. But I was like, let's just fucking get rid of it. Like there's no joy in this land anymore. And it's too bad because it did bring a lot of joy at one point.
You farmed all the joy out of it.
I farmed all the joy out of it. Yeah. I sucked it out and then left. So anyway, the whole point of all this is that I've realized I've been fighting getting rid of it this whole thing because I wanted to hang on to it. I've realized in order to reach this financial benchmark that I've got, we've got to sell this property. And like, I feel like this is the universe sending us like trial after trial with these little fucking crooks that are breaking in and causing damage to our place. They're like, all right, if you want to reach this benchmark, if you don't want to feel shitty, then sell this property and add that whatever we can earn from it to the little pile that you're trying to accumulate. Because all of our earnings now is the end goal is to have a qualified person wipe our asses when we're too old to do it for ourselves. We don't have any kids. Like no one's going to be doing that for us. So anyway, the joy is that I've accepted like, oh yeah, the thing to do now is to sell this property. And that's how I'm going to reach this benchmark, this financial benchmark that I've like set for myself. And it all makes sense now. And this negative thing will be gone.
Sure.
And I'll be that much closer to this thing that I want. So yeah, that's been my joy. I've tried to turn this negative into a positive. And I feel like I have done that without like making it seem like a forced negative into a positive. You know what I mean?
So the universe told you to let go and you finally listened. That's good.
I'm finally,
that's good. Yeah.
It normally doesn't take this long.
Yeah.
Normally I don't hold on for as long as I have been. But
you weren't done with it. You clearly have feelings associated with the place.
I do. Yeah. And I know Jody does too. Like it's definitely, I'm still a little bit in conflict over the whole thing, but like I know the right thing to do is just to move on. And I like I said, this is a first world, joy / problem because like I got to sell my property and I got to add it to our savings. Like it's so ridiculous to even say out loud, but like, and I'm lucky to be able to have that as an issue. I recognize that, but yeah, it's just been kind of a thorn in my ass for a year, and I feel like I've plucked it out and I'm flicking it out into the roadside as I drive away.
Well, that is a joy.
It is. Thanks for joining us. New podcasts every Wednesday, and if any part of this show has resonated with you, let us know at outsidethemanosphere@gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, and now YouTube. Please like, rate, subscribe to the podcast, YouTube channel, or recommend us to a friend. We hope you'll come back.
Bye now. Should we end Max?
Let's end Max this segment.